following program is intended for mature audiences.
This is the new cut. I'll be back. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
I don't understand what that means.
All right.
You're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes.
And download every episode and more at basicallyasportshow.com.
Now here's your hosts, Zach,
Greg,
Mike.
and you're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Garrett Richards,
out for the rest of his career?
well, he's opting against Tommy John surgery and is going to do stem cell therapy instead.
Okay.
And then it just says to be shut down for 6 weeks. If he was getting Tommy John, he'd be shut down for the rest of the year anyway.
Right.
And what are the stem cells supposed to make him better in 6 weeks? Is he supposed to grow a new tendon?
I don't know. I've never heard of this being used before.
Will he just be consuming the fetuses directly?
I don't know.
It's still developing technology, Mike, so we're not quite sure how it works, but that's certainly a possibility. The Angels have not had a good go of it this year, to put it mildly.
They were destined to do that because they didn't fix any of the problems they had.
No, they've been not fixing problems for a few seasons now. I don't remember if you chimed in on this or not, but I threw it out on the boards, and I'll run it past you since we're both Angels fans. What do you think? And I'm not saying do it. I'm just saying, what do you think about exploring the option of trading Mike Trout? He's only got a few years left on his contract. He's probably gone anyway. And you could just get just the mother load of prospects for this guy right now. I don't know why they wouldn't look at it.
Yeah. I mean, you have to find the team that has the mother load worth of prospects, because that's the other problem the Angels have is, sure, they can miss on free agents, but if they're not going to sign free agents, they need to build from within.
Right.
And there is nothing of value in the farm system right now.
Also, you're ruining Mike Trout just on general principles, so stop it.
I forget who it was said that it was a crazy idea because you don't trade a guy like Trout. And I thought, okay, that's a perfectly legitimate position, and I respect that. But when it's all said and done, you've got the best player in baseball playing for a team that's just not going to go anywhere in the next 3 or 4. There's no way they're going to be good again by the end of this contract of his. It's just not going to happen unless Artie Moreno goes out and spends a bunch more money.
Which he has, and it's gone to the wrong places.
Right. So
because they're still paying Josh.
Right.
Hamilton.
Josh Hamilton. I mean, look, I love Albert Pujols, one of my all-time favorite players, but
yeah.
Now we're paying for this contract that I think when they signed it way back when, I said, in 3 years, this isn't going to look so good, and it doesn't. So
he's still the machine. He's just the double play machine now.
Yeah.
All he does is ground it to the shortstop every time.
But I think
there's always somebody on because he still continues to bat third. And it's okay. Trout is always going to be on in front of him, and he can't do anything with it. It just double play after double play.
Right. And, I think last year he hit maybe 285 with, I don't remember his exact numbers, but, nothing close to what he did in his prime, which is still not bad for a guy his age and all that. But, man, you're paying, $20 million a year, something like that for those numbers. It's just, to me, I think if it's there. And maybe you don't do just prospects. Maybe you look at it and you go, okay, we'll go to a team like, say, I don't know, Cleveland, for example. You go, okay, we want Michael Brantley, we want the shortstop Lindor, and we want like 4 of your best prospects for Mike Trout. But then again, why would the Indians do that? Because they know Trout's going to leave at the end of that contract too. So you're really limited to like, okay, the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Mets, maybe. That's the teams that might be seriously interested in him.
Mike Trout to the Yankees would be the most disheartening thing.
It's been the most, sure thing for a while, too. Because he did grow up a Phillies fan, but he also grew up idolizing Derek Jeter. And he's a kid from, middle to South New Jersey.
Right.
So it's not like it's out of the question. That's not terribly far away from where he's from, and they could pay him the moon. Just... It sucks because, I have no desire to go to Angels games this season. They're not fun because the pitching's been bad. And they had a couple good performances over the weekend, but that's one weekend, and I don't expect either of those guys to pitch the same way next time out.
But with a bad team, if you've got a bad team, but they're an up and coming bad team, like say the Astros a couple of years ago or the Royals a few years back, where they're not going to be good, but they're still fun to watch because you're watching these guys develop. That's one thing. But going to an Angels game now, you're just going to watch a bad baseball team. There is really, other than Mike Trout, I can't think of a single reason to go see them.
Cole Calhoun is pretty good. And I mean, if you want to see Albert Pujols,
Yeah, I suppose.
he's there. But yeah, I don't know. I think they need to do something. I'm in favor of a purge, like
Right.
get rid of everybody except Trout, Calhoun, and you're not going to be able to move Pujols, so he'll stick around. Just keep those three guys, and there's nothing on the pitching staff that I'd like to keep. Maybe Houston Street, but that's.
Yeah, but he's
And Garrett Richards was supposed to be the guy that was going to lead the pitching staff forever. And now he's a couple injuries in, and Tommy John surgery, or stem cell therapy in his future.
Yeah, I don't get that at all. I mean, I know maybe you think that in 6 weeks, maybe it'll work. Who knows? I've never heard of it being tried, but you've got a lot of guys that have come back from Tommy John surgery. I mean, it's almost like the thing now. Like you pitch for a year or two, you get your Tommy John, you miss a year, and you come back, and everything's okay. Makes me wonder why you don't just go ahead and get that ligament replaced before you even start, but that's just me.
Yeah. I mean, but if you're the Angels, it's not even like you have a hitter and a pitcher to build around and you'll be good soon.
Oh, no.
It's you have Mike Trout.
Uh-huh.
And obviously I see a lot of his highlights and a lot of his games because we're in the market. And I'm one of the very few lucky cable companies that gets the Dodger channel. So every time Clayton Kershaw goes out, it's like, that's a guy, that's the kind of player the Angels need.
Right.
They need a Kershaw on their roster. And it's just, they don't have one coming. Garrett Richards was supposed to be close, and I don't think he's going to be. Well, Tyler Skaggs was a guy that they talked about, but he's coming off Tommy John surgery too now.
Even Jared Weaver, I thought,
Weaver's lost his fastball,
and he was a bit of a. I mean, even at his peak performance, I still thought he was not quite the guy that you wanted him to be. He had his moments, right. But I never thought of him as a reliable number one starter. So it's just. It doesn't matter. The Cubs are just going to win everything this year anyway, so it really doesn't make much difference, I suppose.
Yeah,
but
I can't wait for the Angels to be those A-Rod Rangers teams where he's going to be winning MVPs, but the team's going to be
right.
losing 100 games every year somehow.
Well, I just think it's something that if you could find a way to make a deal work, I wouldn't rule it out immediately. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
If I'm the front office, I'm not saying you should actively pursue it, but if somebody came along with the right offer, I think if I can fix this team quickly, I would probably do it. But otherwise, like Mike said, you're wasting. I think a generational talent. I mean, this guy is like a to use like a hockey. Or like a hockey, comparison, he's like a Connor McDavid or a Jack Eichel or somebody. He's just a guy that you're going to see once in every great while, and that's it. Yeah. And,
And, I mean, the what was I going to say? I had something to say, and then I lost it.
Anyway.
What was it was there. Oh, the other problem the Angels have had in terms of, trying to build, they've been, deceptively competitive the last couple of years, too. You think of last year. It's like, well, they missed the playoffs last year, and they were garbage last year. Yeah, but if they had beaten the Rangers in those last two games of the season, they would have made the wild card game.
Uh-huh.
And then it's like, well, they convinced themselves that this team's close. And then the only guy they pick up in the offseason of any note is Giovanni Soto.
So it's the same problem the Flames had for the longest time in the NHL. They kept finishing ninth.
Yeah,
basically, yeah.
Oh no, it's still good. It's still good.
It's an illusion. I mean, they played in a bad division. If because Texas was terrible 2 years ago. I mean, the division's not that tough, and
Oakland.
You got Oakland, and like Zach said, they're deceptively competitive. I mean, you look at them and go, well, they're really, you look at their record, they're not that bad, but if you took one step past that, you went, this team's not built to last, first off, and they're not that good to begin with. No, but they're kind of in the dreaded middle almost at this point.
2 years ago, when they made the playoffs, I remember thinking before the season, it's like, well, Mike, you're going to get what you get from Mike Trout if Albert Pujols can be good, and if the pitching staff can stay healthy and if the bullpen can do its job, then this could be a good team and they'll make the playoffs and they could be a threat. And they did. But that's when everything went right and they still kind of barely made it in, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And then, last year they missed barely, and this year they look like they're going to be complete garbage the whole year. So I think they need – I mean, the biggest change that needs to happen with the organization is at the very, very top, because Artie Moreno's an idiot and an asshole. And, they brought in the assistant GM from the Yankees, Billy Epler, and he hasn't really done anything, actually anything, at all, so I have nothing to judge him on. And I don't know. He just looks like crap.
Yeah, at least the uniforms are still nice, so there's that, I suppose. But
and they still got a pretty nice stadium, and Mike Trout's there. So
right. Yeah. But it is very tough to watch them because they're just not that much fun, as it simply stated. It's just really not much else you can say about them. But I think it's the first baseball we've talked since the season started.
Well, we have more to talk about because I mentioned the Rangers earlier too.
Oh my God! Did you guys? Okay, I'm assuming everybody saw the fight.
No, I missed that.
Oh, you didn't see your Blue Jays?
Oh, man.
No, I missed this entirely.
Oh, Jose Bautista got decked.
Dude, that Odor guy from the Rangers? Send it to him. You've got to see this. It's the greatest punch I've ever seen in a baseball brawl. Just it's TV show stuff, I think is the way I put it.
Yeah.
The greatest punch ever in a baseball brawl. And I've seen a bunch over the years. Believe me, this is the best punch ever.
All right.
But I got to give Joey Bat some credit, too, man. That punch would have knocked me flat on my ass.
Well, it's like he had a quote that said, the only reason he got me that hard is because he caught me by surprise, and it takes a bigger man to knock me down. And, he got the punch, it knocked his glasses off, it knocked his helmet right off his head. It's fantastic.
It was, I said, did you see it?
Okay, yeah, I'm watching it now.
Yeah, what happened? The thing that started this all off was it's the Rangers go up 7-6 in the seventh. So into the eighth, the Blue Jays come up, and first pitch they hit Jose Bautista, in what's going to be his last at bat against the Rangers all year. And of course, people remember last year
the flip.
Did the bat flip?
Yeah, they needed
it. In his final at bat against the Rangers this season, as they've already played all their games, he gets pegged. So everyone kind of makes some faces like, okay, you're going to do it that way? Fine. Then Bautista, when he's on first, he starts running to second on a little hit in the infield and slides a little late and, goes spikes up against the shortstop there, Odor. So Bautista jumps right back up. Odor says something to him. Bautista tries to shove him once, and then Odor just clocks him.
Yeah.
And the bench is empty and all that sort of fun.
I think that a lot of people are like, oh, it was a bad slide. I didn't think it was. Was it a little intentional? Probably, but come on.
It didn't deserve a punch to the face.
No. And I think it's kind of thinking chicken shit, too, for the Rangers to say, okay, this is going to be his last at bat against us. Let's hit him now.
If it really bothered you, you would have done something to him the first time you played.
Right.
I think those first games were in Toronto, but still. If that bat flip really bothered you that much, you peg him in the first at bat.
Well, quite frankly, if the bat flip is still bothering the Rangers, I don't know what to tell them. They need to get over themselves. Right,
because as I said last year when it happened, I still to this day contend that bat flip was not meant to show up the Rangers at all. That was you got that bullshit run the half inning prior. And here's what we think of it. Boom! There's the home run. And I don't think it was meant to show them up. I don't think that was it at all. It was just pure raw emotion from Jose Bautista, and I thought it was great. And for them to be all butthurt over it, come on, give me a break. But they're the Rangers. What do you expect? So it was. But yeah, I think it was the greatest punch I've ever seen in a baseball brawl. Maybe in sports ever. I mean, it was incredible. A real good shot.
It was pretty awesome. The manager, Gibbons, after the game said, to me it was gutless. The other 29 teams, they come at you right away, but they wait until the end. Just sort of tells you something. Bautista said, it shows at least an apparent lack of leadership that they have over there when it comes to playing baseball the right way.
Yeah.
That whole idea. And then he also said about the punch itself, I was pretty surprised. I mean, obviously, that's the only reason he got me, and he got me pretty good. So I have to give him that. It takes a little bit bigger man to knock me down.
Well, no argument there because Odor just teed off on him, and he didn't. I mean, his head turned. That was about it.
His head turned. His helmet and glasses fell off. But yeah, he was right back up.
Yeah, I never fell down, never anything. And I mean, if I'm Odor at that point, I'm going, whoa, okay, probably not the best idea because I just gave him my best shot, and he's still standing here.
Is that the best baseball punch of all time?
I think so. It has to be, right?
At least in terms of like actual mechanics of hitting somebody in the face.
I think you got to.
There's other ones like you remember the Nolan Ryan and Robin Ventura.
Right?
Stuff.
Yeah, he was like basically
in terms of like a clean punch.
Yeah, I think it was the cleanest punch I've ever seen. And you got to take everything into account too. You had the perfect camera angle for it, so you got to see it really well. I mean, I just think that it goes down in history as the best one ever. So. Batista's now been part of two of the greatest things ever, the greatest bat flip of all time, and I guess the greatest retaliation of all time to that bat flip.
You just got to hope that they made the playoffs again.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't handle that again.
What, you couldn't handle the Blue Jays playing the Rangers 2 years in a row, or the Blue Jays making the playoffs 2 years in a row?
No, I couldn't handle the stress of that playoffs. Because that Game 5 last season was just I nearly had a heart attack by the end of that.
It was awesome. God, that was a pretty good series. That was really some exciting baseball. And the game, was it Game 5 with the bat flip and everything? Was that when it all took place?
Was. Yeah.
Yeah.
That seventh inning alone, it worth 30.
Well, here you went all robo. Say that again.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, you just.
I said that seventh inning alone is worth a 30 for 30.
I think so too. I really do, and I think someone should do it because the whole thing took like an hour, right? When it was all said and done, 45 minutes, something like that. But
somebody I was reading today called it the best inning of baseball of all time.
Yeah, I can't.
Pure entertainment.
I can't argue that. I have to agree. And believe me,
it wasn't just like one half of the inning or a couple things. It was. Shit happened in the Rangers half of the inning. Shit happened in the Blue Jays half of the inning, and then you get the bat flip and all that too.
I legitimately thought that the Rogers Center was going to be burnt to the ground at one point. Watching that on TV,
it was just so perfect. There was all the tension because it's a playoff game, all the cool stuff that happened, and just the drama just kept building and building and building. Then Batista hits that home run with the bat flip, and it was just like this is just.
Which terrified my cat, by the way, because of how excited I was when that happened.
Right. And you just achieve, I think, a perfect sports moment, and that's kind of what happened with that. But I'm with you. I think a 30 for 30 is sitting right there waiting to be done, just in that inning. You didn't have to worry about the rest of the series. But what a great moment in baseball. It was really cool. So, but I could see why you wouldn't want to go through it again, Mike. I totally understand.
Yeah,
I was on the edge of my seat, and I didn't really even have a horse in the race. I mean, I wanted the Jays to win, but...
I mean, I don't get me wrong. I'd love the Jays in the playoffs again, but against the Rangers, no. I don't need to go through that again. Although it is nice because the Blue Jays, even though they've been around a while, they really don't have any one team you could say is their quote unquote rival.
Right.
I mean, I guess the closest I would say is maybe Boston because there was some baggage over the Clemens trade.
There was about 15 minutes in the 80s where Detroit and the Blue Jays had a little thing going on from 83 to 87 maybe.
And yeah, Detroit's always going to be there because, the Maple Leafs and Red Wings and that kind of bleeds over a bit. But,
and everybody hates the Yankees.
Everyone hates the Yankees. So, I don't know. The Texas Rangers, they're about as good of a team to start something with as any, I guess. I like the fact that something of a rivalry is developing. That's nice.
The Rangers to me, if you said okay, sit down and write down all 30 teams, I'd get 29, and the Rangers is the one I always forget. That's where they're at with me.
Well, they've got
mine's always the Brewers. I think
that's another one. Yeah.
Well, the Rangers' problem is that they've got a really common color scheme, and they don't even have their team name on their uniforms. So everything about them kind of just seems generic. And they've got a roundel as the logo,
which I'm all for. But other than that,
and they've got a state flag as an alternate logo. So everything just kind of seems sort of bland and generic-y.
Yeah.
The other thing I hate about the Rangers, at least uniform-wise, is they're either all blue or all red.
And sometimes they do the thing where they wear the red hat with the home jerseys, but the home jerseys have blue lettering on it, so it looks kind of confused.
It looks like they're two different teams.
And the strange thing about the Rangers is that I bet you that outside of the teams in my home markets, which, growing up would be Detroit and Cleveland, I have seen that team more times than any other in all of baseball. It just seemed like every time I wanted to go to a game, it was against the Rangers. My first trip to Progressive Field in Cleveland, guess what? Playing the Rangers. Just, it never fails. I bet you if you went through all my ticket stubs, I've got 35 Rangers games in there for a team that I don't even remember exists half the time. Well. So do we want to...
I thought while we're here, you want to check in on the standings of the first month of the season?
Yeah, let's. Why not?
All right.
Let's see how many of my favorite teams are doing well.
in the American League, the Blue Jays, despite all of our hopes and dreams, currently 5.5 games out of first place in the AL East, which is tied between Boston and Baltimore. Currently.
Yeah, I think that neither one of those teams
are in last place, so
that's good.
At that.
Yeah, they're man. I mean, we thought they were old and kind of done last year. I think that the Orioles and the Red Sox both are pretty good teams, but I think Toronto, even though they're 5.5 out, that's a long way from over yet. So I wouldn't be sweating it too much.
I'm not getting too worried until the All-Star break.
Now Baltimore being 10 games over 500 is kind of shocking a little because I didn't think they were going to be that good this year. So I'm happy to see that because they fall into the teams that Greg likes. Not one of my favorites, but I do like them.
The division that is the weirdest one to look at right now, I think, is the AL Central. The White Sox have a 5-game lead over the Indians for first in the Central, and Kansas City's 5.5 back.
What happens if
I'll tell you why Kansas City's 5.5 back. It's because they opted to wear that World Series champion patch all season. That's just hubris.
I think all the teams are doing that now, though.
Are they?
I think the Giants did it the last couple times they won, yeah.
I know. I remember that the resurgence of that started with, I want to say, the 95 Indians. The next year they wore AL champs on their sleeve for the entire season, which I thought was...
That's worse.
I mean, and to me it was like, okay, I get it. It's been a really long time and all that, but really? It seems so kind of desperate and pathetic, I thought.
I mean, at least if you won the World Series, at least you get to say World Series champs. And if it's like AL champs, let's basically just say, yeah, we made it, but we lost.
Right.
So
in the West, Texas is on top by 5 games over the Angels. Mariners are in second place. They're in one of the wild card spots right now.
I think the big story in the West is what the hell happened to the Astros.
I think the last couple of years they overperformed.
Yeah.
I don't think they were supposed to be nearly as good last year as they ended up being.
No, because I think we were even talking last year that they were still. We thought they were still 2 years away last year when they were starting to play pretty well. We're like, yeah, not quite yet. So maybe it's a little regression this year. I don't think I'd get too desperate just yet in Houston, but I'm a little surprised that they're not. I didn't think they'd run away with the division or anything, but I thought they'd at least be competitive, and right now they're just not.
In the National League, the Nationals in first place in the East, but only by a game over the Phillies. The Phillies. Who were garbage last year.
Yeah.
They were one of the worst teams in baseball last year, and now they're fighting for the division lead already.
Well, I was reading on the boards, Bring Back the Vet put up some stuff about the Phillies. Their run differential is horrible. I mean, you look at their numbers, there's no way in the world this team should be 6 games over 500, but here they are.
They won't beat for long. This is one of those cases where they're due for a regression.
Right. It's not like football where you can get out to a hot start and just hang on for dear life and make the playoffs. Baseball, with the long season, everything regresses to the mean. So I don't see this lasting. Not with the numbers they have anyway.
Mets are a half game behind the Phillies, and the Marlins are only 2.5 out of first place too.
I think the Marlins aren't going to be terrible this year. I don't know if they're going to be maybe a wild card contender, but they're not going to be awful. They've got some talent.
Giancarlo Stanton is just crushed everything he sees.
But look at the poor Braves. Jeez,
the Braves are the worst team in baseball. They haven't even cracked the 10-win mark yet.
Or 10. I want to talk about the Braves later on.
Oh yeah,
36 games into the season, they haven't hit 10 home runs yet as a team, mind you. They had 9 yesterday. Wow, yeah, bad.
In the Central, the presumptive World Series champions running away with everything. Chicago Cubs, 27-9. Jake Arrieta's out of his mind again. And
you know what? I hope they do it.
I do too.
Hope they do.
Everyone does, right?
I was going to bring this up when we were talking about the White Sox. What would happen to the city of Chicago if we had the Crosstown Series, White Sox Cubs in the World Series?
Everyone would be rooting for the Cubs.
Well, yeah, there would be about 30,000 that would root for the White Sox, but just imagine. I mean, I think that's as nutty as the Sharks and the Blues being in the Western Conference Finals. Myself,
yeah.
My Pirates did. You talk about Jake Arrieta. I'll tell you, John Lester pitched pretty well yesterday, and the Pirates got the win. But man, oh man, what a pitching duel between Lester and Garrett Cole yesterday for those two teams.
Yeah, Garrett Cole, Orange County product.
There you go.
And the St. Louis Cardinals have, they're there.
Well, they're two games under 500. They're
one of my favorite things that Deadspin's doing this year is every time the Cardinals lose a game.
I saw that.
So the latest one is the Cardinals lost their 18th game.
Yeah.
So they're keeping track of that. In the West, it's the same old Dodgers and Giants fighting at the top. I think the surprising thing is, considering all the money they spent in the offseason, the Diamondbacks in last place.
Yeah.
You know what? Good.
Yeah. Any team that looks that bad should not win.
I hope they learn from this and just go with the throwbacks full time, because you know what? At least that looks good in a kitschy sort of way.
Have you seen the teal based alternates that they wear sometimes? I thought those would look really good. I don't think they're that great.
The dark gray looks really weird.
Oh, that dark gray is terrible.
Yeah, that.
I mean, the Blue Jays tried to do the dark gray thing when they
just even darker than theirs.
Yeah,
there was a shot.
Really black.
There was a shot from spring training where the Diamondbacks wore a black jersey with those dark gray pants, and they looked like umpires. It was like there was 13 umpires on the field. It was ridiculous, but they should not be winning with those uniforms. Ugh.
I'm just saying, I don't know. I've got to think that in the summer, I don't want to be out there in gray uniforms that dark in the middle of the summer.
No.
That's got to be miserable.
I mean, thankfully they play half their games in air conditioning, but still.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I guess you can get away with it for night games, but no.
And it's just ugly.
I just hope I just hope that they end up. I just hope that the season ends up as a disaster, and that they never have a winning season in these uniforms, and that they take the proper lesson and get rid of them.
Do you guys think that the reaction to those uniforms has been strong enough to keep other teams from trying something so stupid?
Unfortunately. No.
Yeah, I'm not so sure myself. I mean, no one seems to like them, but it didn't stop football.
The general public hasn't, in the uniform community, we hate them all. But
yeah.
I don't think the general public doesn't hate them as much.
Well,
my theory, though, is that there's still enough to stop the other teams from going with it, just because baseball is so hyper traditional. I don't know. I think it's a shock that this even happened, but I think that the response has been such that other baseball teams will be like, let's not do that.
Don't you think that all of sports should basically just kind of turn over all of that stuff to just the boards, just us? I'm not saying like any particular people, but we've got some idiots though who I don't want making decisions.
But it should be a committee,
right?
Yeah. As a whole, we can vote on things. Take the top, 50 posters.
Yeah.
However you want to determine that, and have them vote on options.
We could use my Creamer metrics that I created a few years ago to come up with the 50 best CCSLC posters based on their stats and go with that.
So what you're saying, Zach, is that you would be in favor of some version of the Accords from Captain America: Civil War. We're the committee.
No.
Okay, this is a labor joke, but I'm saying we would be the UN committee. We're the committee who decides everything.
In a way, I guess. I think you're stretching it, but...
Oh, no, it was. I knew it was a stretch halfway through getting it out, but by that point, I was committed, so I ran.
Right, once you're in, you can't just hit the eject button. You got to go all the way. we're talking about the end of the world as we know it because either the St. Louis Blues or the San Jose Sharks are going to make the Stanley Cup Finals. I would be out buying the duct tape and the plastic for your windows and all that stuff if I were you.
Well, the Blues have a 1-0 series lead, which doesn't bode well for the Sharks because the Sharks are actually winless in game ones when they make it to the Western Conference Finals.
Oh.
Yeah, 0-4 in their 4 trips now to the Western Conference Final. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not like they played badly in game one.
What was the score?
It was 3-1.
Okay.
2-1. It was 2-1 St. Louis.
Based on just one little thing, if I had to pick one thing that I like better about the Blues coming into this is that they both went to Game 7, right? Did the Sharks have to go 7 with the Purds too?
Yeah.
The Blues went on the road to Dallas. Or was it on the road or was it at home? I thought it was on the road.
It was on the road.
On the road and dominated, and the Sharks did it at home. So there's that. I mean, the Blues did something that, well, they've done a lot of things that no one expected up to this point.
Yeah. No, they both had kind of similar paths. In the first round, they both knocked out their perennial demon, the Sharks over the Kings in 5, and Blues over the Blackhawks in 7. And then, had to fight out 7 games, and they probably, in a series, they shouldn't have gone to 7 games in the second round. And now they're in the Western Conference Final. But, I mean, with the history of these two teams, I have no doubt it's just going to go to 7 games. And, 9 overtimes in the final game. And, the goalie will just, pass out and drop the puck in his own net or something like that.
Yeah. What did you say, Zach? This series will be determined by who loses the least?
Who loses the least, yes.
Yeah. Whoever, the other team will lose 4 games. And as long as you're the team that doesn't lose the 4 games, then you will be the winner. Or not necessarily the winner. You will advance.
Well, I wanted to put forth a theory that our friend of the show, Cosmic, put forth, is that Chip Mariachi Band winning the Glorious Tournament of Victory has set the stage for all these teams to finally break through and get things done this year. I think that's a good theory.
Yeah, but Penguins win the cup.
Yeah, I know. See, why can't we?
To St. Louis or to Tampa.
What?
And
you went Robo there, Zach.
Yeah, you went Robo.
I did.
Yeah,
I never went Robo. I said I don't. I mean, the Penguins aren't far and away clear either. They lost the first game to the Tampa Bay at home.
Tied 2-2 in the first right now.
Right. Then Bishop went down and they still won. And they were up 2-0 in this game right now, and the Tampa Bay tied it up at the end of the first.
Well,
so they're not out of the woods yet either.
Not to mention, I mean, how many more people can Tampa Bay lose and still field the team at this point?
Well, they got back Anton Strawman today, and Stamkos might come back for Game 3 potentially. But they're surviving through all this somehow, and still doing very, very well.
Right?
They're a solid team.
It's going to be interesting. I just think that I don't know what to make of the fact that it's going to be either the Blues or the Sharks. There's no way to avoid it, right? Well, I guess there's always a way to avoid it, but
when you're watching the game the other day, it's like it's just so weird to see them actually playing against each other for the right to go to the Stanley Cup. It's just
the Blues have made it to Stanley Cups before.
As a formality.
Yeah,
back going. Didn't they go like 4 straight times after the 67 expansion or something like that?
Right, because they
lost
expansion teams in one conference so that they would be assured of a new team getting into the Cup final. And the Blues just happened to be that team the first, I think, 3 years, and they got swept all 3 years.
Yeah.
So they've been to a couple Stanley Cup Finals, but because somebody had to, and because they haven't won a game there. So, and if you want to translate that back to now, they could go to the Western Conference Final because between them and the Sharks, somebody has to.
Well, I find myself looking at going, okay, so they're here, but who do they end up losing to before they? And that's it. It's these two. It's not like you're waiting for them to go, okay, well, they're going to win. One of them's going to win this one, then they got to play so-and-so, and that'll be that. That's not the case this time. Now, one of them is going to get there.
All right.
Yeah.
It's the battle between the St. Louis Blues and the California Golden Seals.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about this. Shouldn't I be, when it's all said and done, shouldn't I be a Sharks fan? Because don't they somehow wind their way back to the old Cleveland Barons along the way?
In a non-direct fashion, but yeah.
They do, yeah. But at the same time, the Cleveland Barons killed the Cleveland Crusaders.
Which is a problem. I'm always going to have a problem with that.
So,
because, the WHA
really...
would have been extremely successful had it not been for that, right?
Exactly. If only the Cleveland market had panned out, and they could have made a run at it.
WHA is still around today.
I don't know. It's just kind of weird. It's just again, like we talked about last week, it's just weird to not have any of the big boys of either conference in these conference finals. So.
That's what I mean. With the Blues Sharks, it's cute that you get to play each other and all that, but you have to now go play Chicago. Except that you don't have to. They're not there to play.
You don't have to play Chicago. You don't have to play Kings.
Yeah.
Even though the Blues beat Chicago and the Sharks beat the Kings. So they technically got through that obstacle already. They just did it before they had to play each other.
Speaking of teams losing, though, can we talk about how the President's trophy is again a millstone around a team's neck? Yeah. And if you want to talk about one team maintaining their choking label, the Caps kept it alive.
Yep.
Yeah, man, I don't know what to do with the Washington Capitals. Like,
I think at this point you fold the franchise, right?
I mean, yeah, because this is like they had a record of all the. This is the best Capitals team they've ever really iced in terms of like their success in the regular season, and Braden Holtby setting the goaltending record. You thought, well, they had the strong goalie this time. Ovechkin was playing well. They had secondary scoring. Barry Trotz can play a structured system, and they were ready to do it. And then they went up against the Penguins again and lost to the Penguins again. Couldn't win.
At the start of the playoffs, you'd said of these three teams that are known for not getting anywhere, the Blues, the Sharks, and the Caps, of the three, who has the best chance? I would have picked the Caps every time. I would have said they're the ones that are going to finally get through and do it. And I don't know. I'm with you. I don't know what you do with them either. I mean, how much better can they get and still not get anywhere?
This whole thing does not bode well for the Golden State Warriors, because like the Warriors, the Capitals had a monster regular season, not record-breaking, mind you, but still pretty spectacular. And
basketball's different, though. This doesn't happen in basketball. You know?
I don't know. Look at what the Thunder managed to do to the Spurs of all teams.
Yeah.
Spurs got old really quickly, I think.
I'm not going to write off the Thunder against the Warriors in this. I think that of all the teams that they might have had to play, I think that the Thunder is probably the one that, if I had to pick, I'd say I don't want to play those guys if I'm the Warriors, because they've got Durant and Westbrook, and they're pretty good. And while we're talking basketball really quick, it's on.
Hello?
You guys still there? Hello?
You wet robo. Hello.
For fuck's sake. Yeah, I'm here. Hold on.
We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Unruffled by that minor setback, we try phase 2.
As I was saying, speaking of basketball, it's on. We've got the Toronto Raptors and my Cleveland Cavaliers facing off in the Eastern Conference Finals.
We the North.
Witness. I don't know if the Cavs have another saying besides that or not.
You the Rust Belt.
Yeah, that too. You know what I found, though, that I think is kind of interesting is that when I don't live in Ohio, I'm far more interested in the Cleveland teams than I am when I actually live there.
Like, because we're not dealing with the people.
Maybe that's it. I didn't think about it from that aspect, but that's probably it.
I'm sure the Cleveland Browns seem much more attractive when you don't have to deal with actual Browns fans.
No, not as long as they're wearing those uniforms. That's just not going to happen. But with the Indians and the Cavs, it's all of a sudden I'm more interested in them now than I was when I lived there. It's like they have an appeal that they don't have, but I think Zach's right. It's because I'm not dealing with the fans every day.
You're not dealing with the fans. You're not listening to the sports talk radio and listening to the idiots blabber.
Right.
About
Everyone called they just need a Cleveland boy to come in.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what you need.
Right. But yeah, so I thought that I don't know if I can name 5 Cavaliers. Mike, can you name 5 Raptors?
No.
Yeah, I mean, so much for the big rivalry.
Let's see. Hold on. I'm gonna pull up the Raptors roster.
Okay.
And let's legitimately try to see how many Toronto Raptors you guys can name.
I can't name any, but Mike might be able to name a couple.
Kyle Lowry.
Yeah.
DeMar DeRozan.
Sure.
And I'm going to tap out right now.
What, you don't have any love for Jonas Valanciunas?
No. Oh, wait. Bismack Biyombo.
Yeah, there's another one.
There you go.
Norman Powell. Damari Carroll.
Wow.
Corey Joseph.
You're just saying words.
Louis Scola.
I thought Biyombo Biazak, or whatever his name was, I thought he just made that up. I guess that's a really good player.
Bismack Biyombo. He's from the Congo. Terrence Ross, Jason Thomas, Patrick Patterson, James Johnson, and some other guys.
It's not enough that it's not that I don't not only not know these guys, I've never heard of any of them. That's the thing with the Raptors. Okay, try the Cavs. Pull the Cavs roster up. I know I can do at least 3. Of course, there's LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Love. Now, from there, Anderson Varejao, is he still there?
Don't believe so, no.
Wow. Let me think. Oh, they've got the guy that used to be with the Nets, I think. Can't think of his name.
J.R. Smith?
Yeah,
when you say someone who used to play for the Nets, all I've got is Jason Kidd.
So I got 3 Cavs. That's the only ones I can think of off the top of my head.
J.R. Smith?
J.R. Smith. That's what I was thinking. Who?
Matthew Dellavedova.
Oh, he was the guy that the kid from last year, right? That had, played the gritty, tough little white guy game for a couple games there against the Warriors, right? Yeah.
Jordan McRae, Channing Frye.
Nope.
Dante Jones.
Nope.
Iman Shumpert.
Oh, I remember him. I didn't know he was a Cav.
Tristan Thompson.
Oh, Tristan Thompson. Yeah, I should know him. I remember him. Played at Texas in college.
Timothy Mozgov.
That name rings a bell.
He's the guy that Blake Griffin dunked on really hard that one time.
Okay.
Mo Williams.
Mo Williams, really?
Yeah.
What is he, about 55 by now?
Probably.
Yeah.
Sir Dominic Pointer.
Oh, no.
By the way, that guy's first name is S-I-R, like Sir, apostrophe, Dominic.
That's
so
awesome.
His name is Sir Dominic.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Come on.
But it's one word, so Sir Dominic.
That's cool. That's a cool name. It's not LaMike or LaTim, but it's pretty damn cool.
Then you got Richard Jefferson, James Jones, and Sasha Khan. Not Shaka Khan, but Sasha Khan.
Not Sasha, not the guy that did Borat, right?
No.
Which Jefferson do they have?
Richard.
Oh, I think an Al. Al's the guy that's like a center. I think he plays for Charlotte or used to, and he's like 45 or whatever. So yeah, Mike and I are all fired up about this rivalry, and we can't name between the two of us. We can't put 5 guys on the court that we know.
Woo!
But go Cavs anyway.
Go Raptors, we the North.
Didn't the Raptors? They've won 2 7-game series now, right?
Yeah.
Look at them go.
Crushed Miami last night.
Yeah, that one was 7, right? Everybody was all talking up the Heat, like that they're quote unquote on fire. Boy, that was witty. And the Raptors sealed the deal.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. That's about as much as I know about the playoffs.
Yeah.
Well, in the West, we had some news because everyone assumed that it was just a foregone conclusion that the Western Conference Finals would be Warriors, Spurs, but no, the Thunder beating Spurs pretty easily, all things considered.
What is what's Steph Curry's condition right now? Is he back to full health?
Oh yeah, he's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. No, the Thunder were impressive. Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook had an incredible series. And then on the other side, guys like Tim Duncan looked really old all of a sudden.
He is really old.
Well, yeah, he is, but he's never seemed like when you watch him, he always just produced and was fine, and now he finally hit the wall, I guess.
Well, who was the what's his name? The other
Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili.
Well, those guys are old too. But there's a young guy,
Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi Leonard, yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah, he was shut down though. They did a really good job of boxing him in.
Well, if Duncan's not playing well and the other two old guys, it's pretty easy to shut them down because all you've got to do is worry about Leonard and that's it, essentially. I don't know. I tell you though, again, knowing very little about the NBA this season, I've just got a hunch about this Thunder Warriors series. Don't know why, but I wouldn't go to sleep on the Thunder if I'm the Warriors. I'm just saying.
I would. I think while the Thunder were impressive, the Warriors are just they were that much better than pretty much everybody else all season. Yeah. The only team that kept up with them was the Spurs, and they go down.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Who am I kidding?
And they had a easy time in the first two series, and whereas the Thunder kind of had to work things out. And
who am I kidding? They're not going to. It's going to be the Warriors. The Warriors are going to beat the Cavs, and that's going to be that.
Yep. We the North.
Well, you can be the North all you want. You're probably not going to get to the finals.
Raptors are going to sweep for the Raptors right
okay.
Here. You heard it here first. LeBron James blows both of his knees out at the same time.
Oh, don't say things like that, especially about a Cleveland team. Jeez, it'll happen now.
The NBA announced that in 2 seasons they're going to have ads on their jerseys. The Sixers announced who their sponsors are going to be and released shots of the jerseys, which means that the Sixers are officially the first team in the Big Four to announce ads.
Now, if anyone just watched them to see the ads, they'd really have something here.
Well, I think the consensus seems to be that, of course, the first team that would actually go ahead with this is the Sixers. Of course it would be them. Because this is the team that has tried desperately. This is the team that was tanking on purpose and mismanaging things to such an extent that the league had to intervene.
Yeah.
But you look at the patches and they're fine. This is acceptable for now. It's kind of like the All-Star jerseys where it's a very small 2.5 inch by 2.5 inch patch on the upper left of the basketball jersey. So it's
now, okay, I noticed something
and they did the good thing about making the patches in team colors.
I was just going to say that. I don't know what StubHub's colors are, but I saw the first picture had the patch on a red jersey, and it had red stitching, and then the one on the blue jersey has blue stitching, and the white one has white with white stitching on the blue background. So I think when we talked about this way back when, I said that at least if you're going to do this, try to keep everything color coordinated, which I know would be difficult for certain logos, but it's nice to see they did that with this at least. I'm
pretty sure StubHub's colors are light blue and orange. So
okay.
Well, but you see, that's the thing. With StubHub, okay, maybe they're light blue and orange, but their brand isn't associated with a certain color scheme. They can do this. If, say, the Lakers, for example, go with Coca-Cola,
right?
Are they going to be able to do a purple and gold Coca-Cola logo? I sincerely doubt it. That Coca-Cola logo will be red and white,
right?
And that's going to clash. So it's almost going to depend on the sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think StubHub is a team that can get away with this sort of thing. I mean, is a brand that can get away with this sort of thing, but I don't think it's going to be this color coordinated for every team and every sponsor.
Yeah, you've got a sponsor like UPS, which is known for the brown and the gold. They're not going to switch up. You're right. These don't look bad, but man, I still don't like the fact that we've crossed this line. I got to say, I'm not crazy about it. They don't look terrible, but I don't know.
I know that the NHL is going to be the next one because I'm convinced the only reason the NHL hasn't done this is because they're too self-aware enough to realize that everyone would go oh, of course it's the NHL.
Yeah. Well, they announced I think it was last year that they wouldn't be the first ones to do it.
Well,
they flat out said that they were going to wait for somebody else to do it first.
And now someone else has done it.
Yeah. The interesting thing, at least when it comes to StubHub, is the official ticket partner of the NBA is actually Ticketmaster. So what's happening here is there's the rules when it comes to the ads on the NBA jerseys, at least. The company can't be a gambling company, an alcohol company, or be associated with politics in any way. And the NBA has given protected status to a number of its national partners, media partners like ESPN, ABC, Turner, Nike, and on-court partners like Tissot, the official timekeeper, and Spalding, the official ball. So, but other things like Ticketmaster, excuse me, they're not protected by this, so they can get pretty much anything besides that.
Here's a question I have real quick. Is it limited? So, say StubHub's sponsoring the Sixers. Now, can they sponsor, say, the Lakers and the Spurs and the Heat, or do they have to stick to one team?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think if you want to sign a sponsorship deal with anybody, I think that's up to you.
Well, it is worth noting that StubHub is actually the official, distributor, I guess, for the Sixers. The league as a whole might be Ticketmasters, but the Sixers have a separate distribution deal with StubHub.
Yeah, I mean, this is StubHub's secondary ticket market, right? You can't. Yeah. Okay.
And in fact, the Sixers CEO, I think, when he was explaining why they went to StubHub, he said that ever since the ads on jerseys decision was reached, the Sixers have been like, well, we've known all along it was going to be StubHub for us. So, did either of you two catch the videos that the Sixers put out to promote these ads on the jerseys?
No.
It is some of the worst crap imaginable. One of them involves a giant, big-headed Betty Ross Sixers mascot sewing the ad onto the jersey.
Okay.
Why?
Made the flag the whole bit.
Philadelphia,
right? Yeah,
right.
America, yeah.
I'm just curious to see who these sponsors are going to end up being. We know the first one, and I don't know. This could get really weird, I think, before it's all said and done.
I'm trying to think of
for the Cavaliers, you would think it would be Quicken Loans, right?
You would think,
because Dan Gilbert is the Quicken Loans owner, right?
Right. But then again, does he need to? He's already got the arena named after Quicken Loans.
That's true.
Does he need that? I don't know. I mean, is it going to be? Okay, let's take a team. I like the Timberwolves. Really, no national presence to speak of. Mm-hmm. So, do we end up with I don't know, like Joe Bob's Pizza Place because they can't get a national sponsor?
I think for them, because it's a Minnesota-based company, I would think Target would probably be there. But it's the Target Center already too, huh?
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying, maybe Target says we don't want to do ads on the jerseys, and maybe they have to go with maybe a regional or even a local sponsor. That's what I think is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But then I don't think it's going to be a tough sell to get a national sponsor, depending on the price, to get national sponsorship on these jerseys.
Apparently this was cheap. Apparently this was cheap. I want to pull up the exact number. Okay, so $15 million.
$5 million a year for 3 years.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing too. Look, to us that's a lot of money, but to a professional sports franchise in the Big Four, is $15 million a year really, or $15 million for 3 years?
That's the thing. That's the thing. Like, you would think that, as a fan, you're going to go, okay, I don't like this, but at least the team will make a lot of money off of it. But that's not even really a lot of money.
No, not for a team. They can't get any. I mean, who are they going to sign for that? You know what I mean? If it was this thing where you go, okay, StubHub's paying X amount of dollars, it means we can go out and sign Kevin Durant when he's a free agent. You go, all right, maybe, but $15 million for 3 years, they're not getting anything out of that.
Here's the way the money is going to be broken down with the teams themselves. The NBA teams will keep half the money generated by the sponsors. The other half will then go into be split up between the players and into the revenue sharing pool, which will ultimately raise the salary cap and stuff like that.
Okay. Well,
so you say $5 million a year for That's just for the Sixers, though.
Right.
Add that up across all 30 teams, and then you think that some teams are going to be paying more for others. Like, you're going to pay more money to be on the Lakers or the Knicks or the Celtics or even the Warriors right now.
Or the Cavs, yeah.
To be on the Sixers.
Or the Timberwolves, right.
Timberwolves, right. So it'll be a big pool of money that's then put into the revenue, and the salary cap is directly proportional to the revenue, and so that will go up, and then in turn increasing player salaries.
It does sort of have an effect on the kind of thing that as a fan you would want it to have an effect on, just not a direct effect.
Not direct, no.
Ladies and gentlemen, Zach's Tabs.
Zach's Tabs!
Take it.
All right.
So, let's see. Well, since we were just talking about off mic about the Penguins Lightning series, this series has brought up the fact that the Lightning are again doing what they did last season. You can't wear non-Lightning gear in the club and club designated seating areas during the 2015-16 Lightning playoff games. And as a Pittsburgh news anchor said when they were reading the story, get over yourselves. So.
Exactly. Look, there's no reason. It makes no sense to do this at any level, but those seats are probably the most expensive seats in the place. And I think if you pay that much money, you should be allowed to wear pretty much whatever you want, especially if it's just team-oriented gear. What are they afraid of? Are they afraid that it's going to be nothing but Penguins fans buying up all of those seats? Is that really a legitimate concern? Well,
and the problem is it's just in the club level, which I think is just the second level. So there's going to be a ton of people in the upper deck and in the lower deck. Again, as we talked about last year when this happened, look, Lightning, I too am a fan of a Sun Belt hockey franchise. There are people like, take Greg, for example. They live in the cold, and even you, Mike, you live in the cold, depressing, uninhabitable northern reaches of this continent.
Aww.
So you come down to the sunshine for work, pleasure, whatever, and you still want to root for your teams.
To get away from the cold so I can feel again during the winter.
Right. So when their teams come around, their fans are going to be there.
Right.
Because it sucks. Trust me, I know it really, really sucks. But if you want those people to not be in your arena, buy the tickets.
Yeah.
I mean, it's as simple as that. Buy the tickets and show up. Or if you do have the tickets, don't sell them, dicks.
It just makes you look so petty and pathetic to do this.
Yeah.
You've already got the stigma of, okay, you're a Sun Belt hockey market, so maybe people think, oh, you're not a great hockey market, et cetera, et cetera. And then you do this, and you pretty much just confirm what you were concerned of people were going to think about you in the first place.
I'm actually going to paraphrase the Admiral, actually, of all people. What is it about the former Confederacy when it comes to not wanting to accommodate paying customers?
That's a good point.
It's all those Northerners. That's what it is.
And you know what? It's not just limited to Sun Belt teams either. We had the same problem in Columbus. And I'm sure friend of the show McCarthy would attest to this, that if you go see the Red Wings or the Rangers or one of the popular teams, you're going to get overrun with a lot of their fans. It's just the way it works.
All these newer teams, because that's the other thing, is these Sun Belt teams are newer. Mm-hmm. So even the people that were living there before the teams got there, they could be fans of somebody else.
Yeah.
Already. And when the Kings play the Ducks, there is a shit ton of Kings fans that show up. And yeah, they were reawakened over the last 5-6 years, whatever. But, before the Ducks came in, the Kings were here for 25 years or so. You're not just going to shake that just because there's a new team.
Well, like in Columbus, okay? The team was, 2000 was their first season, I think? Yeah.
Yeah,
so
like that.
Before that, if you had – the state was pretty much split, east and west, either Red Wings fans or Penguins fans. What the hell did you think was going to happen when you put a team in Columbus? That everybody was going to do what I did and go, oh, you know what? Forget the team I've been rooting for 20 years. I'm going to go with you guys. That doesn't happen that often. So, yeah, right. other fans – it doesn't matter where you are. I'm sure if you went to Madison Square Garden on a week that the Bruins are playing there, you're going to see people in Bruins jerseys. It's just the way it works. You can't get around it. And to sit and make a big deal out of it just makes you look so Bush League. Just ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is the good thing though about Lightning looking so much at the Maple Leafs, that when I'm in Tampa and the Leafs play the Lightning, I could wear my Leafs jersey and I could probably get into the club section and nobody would know.
Right. You could sneak right past them.
Get right past them. No one would know.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned your Blue Jackets, Greg, and their Twitter account has won the playoffs.
Oh, good. Nice to see we can win something.
Before, I think it was in between games 1 and 2 the other day. The Blue Jackets Twitter feed thought they'd have a little fun. So they went back on the Tampa Bay Lightning Twitter feed's timeline, all the way back to December 11th of 2009, where the Lightning simply put out a tweet that said, Steven Stamkos will play tonight. Now, as you know, Stamkos is injured and hasn't played his first couple games. So the Blue Jackets responded to that tweet and just said, wow, with an exclamation point. So when you're looking at the tweet and you just say, Steven Stamkos will play tonight from the Lightning Twitter account, everyone's got a tizzy.
That is amazing.
So the Lightning had to respond back to the Blue Jackets and said, oh, don't you get involved with this.
Oh, my. Look at my Blue Jackets doing the troll move. I like it.
The Blue Jackets then just sent back a video of Seth Jones giving a thumbs up. And then later in the day, or later in the morning, because I guess this happened early, or right around the same time. Anyway, the Lightning had to actually respond to it on their Twitter account, saying, "Since this is a thing now, please read the date on the tweet and take a deep breath."
First of all, congrats to the Blue Jackets for actually going through 7 years worth of tweets.
Yeah. That had to take a little while, right?
Oh yeah, I don't know how they could have gone all the way back. Maybe they searched for the exact wording. Steven Stamkos will play tonight,
right?
Or they just had one unpaid intern, and they're like, "This is your job for the next 5 hours."
Oh, look at this. I'm on the Blue Jackets website. Game 7, if necessary, between the Lake Erie Monsters and the Grand Rapids Griffins will be played at Nationwide Arena, I guess because of the Cavs playoffs, I'm assuming, right?
Yes. Yeah. The cool. Cavaliers playoff, because the Lake Erie Monsters also play in the Cavaliers Arena, and they are the affiliate of the Blue Jackets, so...
I would go to that if I was still there. Huh?
The minor league hockey, there's another franchise moving as the westward movement continues. The Coyotes bought the Springfield Falcons, and they will be moving them to Tucson next season.
Okay.
So.
NHL hockey has trouble drawing in Arizona. What makes them think AHL hockey is going to do much better?
Well, they're going to be playing in the convention center, which that's where the U of A's club team plays. I think the capacity is 2,000 people, I think, for hockey games.
Can they get 2,000 people?
Yeah, sure. I mean,
probably.
If you're in a college town, if they do what the San Diego Gulls and Ontario Reign have done, where every Friday night is $2 beer night, you can get a bunch of college kids to show up on a Friday night.
Sure. Okay, that's fair enough. Okay, okay,
that's okay. Well, perfect transition. Speaking of beer prices, and this is the Atlanta Stadium news I was going to lay on you guys. The Atlanta Falcons. Their new stadium, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which will be opening next season.
Which will exist in the same conference as the Mercedes-Benz Superdome.
Right. It's going to be opening in 2017, and they've already announced that they will have the lowest concession prices of the big 4 sports franchises.
Really? Not just the NFL?
No. Listen to this stuff. A hot dog. How much do you pay for a hot dog at a regular game anywhere?
Oh God, at least at very, very bare minimum, I'm going to say $4 at least.
Yeah. I think at Ducks games it's $5. $2.
Wow, really?
A pizza slice $3. Nachos $3.
Oh man, a pizza slice at at Nationwide or a Progressive Field, that's $7 easy.
Pretzel $2. Peanuts $2. And here come these are the drink prices. These are the ones that there's a cheeseburger for $5. Chicken tenders are $6. Well, it gets a little up there. But here are the beverage costs. A regular Coke, $2.
No way.
Souvenir cup Coke, $4.
I can't remember the last time I paid $2 for a Coca-Cola.
Not at a game, no.
Bottled water, $2.
Wow.
And here's the big one: a 12-ounce Bud Light, $5.
Wow.
Okay, there are going to be a lot of drunk Falcons fans.
Right. Well, I know they'll eat a lot of food, too, so the alcohol won't hit them quite as fast. But, yeah, they're going to be some – that's cool, though. I like that. If they could go back to their throwback uniforms. Yeah, I'd be a Falcons fan. They just got to switch up and go back to the cool alternates. I'm in.
Good on you, Falcons.
I mean,
good on you.
$2 for – what was it for a Coke? It was $2?
Yeah, $2 for a Coke.
You could get a hot dog and a soda for $4.
Wow.
That's –
I want to say, like, at Columbus Clippers games, the Coke was $3.75.
Right.
That's minor league baseball. Man, that's great.
Yeah, so good on you, Falcons.
Yeah, no kidding.
Good job. Well, we talked last week about European football, soccer, and the relegation came up. Well, the soccer season in Turkey ended this week, and the fans of the fans of Eskişehirspor, they were not taken too kindly to the fact that the team was going to be relegated from the top division in Turkish soccer. So they set the stadium on fire. And I'm not kidding. Here's the link to some of the videos of the flames. The bleachers are on fire. The scoreboard fell off and is on fire.
You know what? I've only got one thing to say to this. British soccer hooligans, raise your game.
Yeah, really.
This is why
just got raised.
If you look closely, this is why in Eastern Europe and Turkey is being included part of this. They have those chain link fences around the playing field, so that because this stuff happens on a regular basis.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is. I mean, it's. Well, I don't know. I think that's funny to burn down the stadium. Might be a bit of an overreaction, I think, but it happens a lot.
The closest we've gotten in North America, I think, was when the Browns fans pelted referees of garbage.
Right. Which I'm not condoning it, but I certainly understand it in that particular case. I'll just say that.
I don't even remember what that whole incident was about.
I'll tell you what it was about. The Browns had basically won the game, and there was it was inside a 2-minute warning, so all challenges came from upstairs, right? And the Browns, we lined up, the play happened, teams came back to the line, lined up, ran a play, and then the official blew the whistle and said, "Oh, no, back up. We've got to review the prior play to the one that just ran." That's why
you're not allowed to do that.
Except in Cleveland you are. You're allowed to do exactly that, which is why, again, I don't condone it, but I sure got why they did it, believe me. Anyway, go ahead, Zach.
Okay.
Let's see. ESPN made it official. Sean McDonough will be the Monday Night Football announcer. I think we already said that, though, right?
Yeah.
Well, the last one I have then. Greg, do you have the MLB at Bat app?
I sure do.
So, did you get the very special notification this week?
About what?
They sent this out on Sunday, midday. They sent out a notification, and I'm going to read it in full. CWS at NYY. Joe DiMaggio breaks out of an 0-for-7 slump with first-inning RBI single, scoring Phil Rizzuto.
Oh, wow, hey. That's pretty damn impressive considering that they're both dead.
It was supposed to be to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the start of Joe DiMaggio's hitting streak. But they just sent it out as if it was like a game that was happening right now.
Oh, God.
So, good job, Joe.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's why they're looking for people to help with. There's a lot of jobs that they're looking for at MLB Advanced Media. Maybe that's part of the reason why they need help, because I think it's pretty funny myself. Is that it?
But that's it.
All right. Well, you know the routine, folks. Follow us at Basically Sports. Quick shout out to our British listeners who came through just like I thought they would last week. And Subscribe via iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, and the YouTubes, and find us on Facebook. You guys get any last thoughts before we call it a night?
I got nothing.
Hashtag stop being stupid, Ottawa.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm going to say go Cavs and go Blues, baby. Let's take this thing home.
The North. 4-game Raptors sweep. Raptors sweeping them. 4 games, going to be over.
Okay.
LeBron.
The last thing I want to say, I guess, is that once I've seen the Western Conference play out as it has, I'm so mad at the Ducks.
I don't blame you.
Oh, God, they could have beaten either of these stupid teams.
Yep. Yep.
Anyway.
All right. That's going to do it. We'll see you next time, folks.
Bye.
Bye.